Hi YouTube friends, it's Elizabeth J with an S, and I am going to be showing you my bullet journal setup for 2020. I have here a B5 Archer and Olive. This will take me through half of the year, and then I will be continuing in the same. But I've basically set up some things that will continue through the whole year and some things just for half the year depending on what they are. So let's get into it. And I'll be filling some things out as we go. I will be using this Ink Joy gel pen from Papermate with the 0.5 nib. I prefer the fine point, so that's what I'll be using to fill out my yearly setup in the bullet journal. This Archer and Olive is 160 pages and the paperweight is 160 as well. It is stark white and the dot grid is 5 millimeters with sort of a grayish dot that is not too intrusive but can be clearly seen. I did do a pen test in the back, which you would see in a previous video. I do have some other pens that I will be testing as I get them. I just don't have them yet. So this is my intro page for 2020, January through June. And the first spread that I created was a year at a glance, and I decided to do 2020 and 2021. I am playing around a little bit with stamping, as you can see. I am using some chalk style stamps, and I've not quite gotten it, I don't think, but doesn't look too bad. I always do a Monday start, so I know that off the top of my head that this first column is always going to be a Monday. So all of my monthly calendars are always a Monday start. Okay, the first spread that I'm going to fill out is this birthdays and anniversaries spread. I did not create this. I found this on Pinterest somewhere. So I just created my version. I used a Tombow drawing pen to create the lines. And I used a marker to do the colors on the wheel. I really like this spread because then I can have all the birthdays in one place. So let me get that filled out and then we'll move on. So there is the birthday spread complete. The next spread is the future log, which I'm not going to fill out right now. I will be putting some important dates in there probably a little bit later, but I'm not going to fill this out right now, and I did do it for the whole year, so that way when I move into the next bullet journal in July, I'll be able to transfer some things over and then continue the future log with the beginning half of the following year. Here we have a year in pictures. I decided just to do the months that I'll be in this bullet journal. So I have 2 photos that will go in for each month. And yeah, it's just a way to kind of memory keep a little bit in this bullet journal. I've never done this before, so I'm kind of a little excited about it. Okay, here we come to my savings tracker and my body tracker. I am in the process of trying to save some money, obviously, and lose some weight. So I'm going to, basically the way the savings tracker is going to work is I'm going to put in the amount that I start each month with after my bills are paid, because I get paid at the end of every month. So I'm gonna, after I've like taken, out my money for my envelopes, and paid like my credit card and those kinds of things, before I start actually doing my extra spending, I'm going to put the amount of money I have in my bank account for each month, and then at the end of 6 months I'll be able to see how much I've saved. For my body tracker, I am going to start filling in this information for January and just see what my mass is, but also my measurements, because to me this is more important than this, but it's nice to see the numbers going down. So let me fill that out and then we'll move on. So I've covered my January. No one really needs to know how much money I have in the bank. And these measurements, this mass is in kg and these are in centimeters, just if anybody was wondering. So that's that. And we can move on to the next spread. So each month I'm going to have a theme that I'm going to attempt to doodle, and we'll see how that goes. And when I show you January, you'll see what my ideas are. And then also to practice my hand lettering, I picked 24 hand lettering themes that I will spend for each hand lettering theme. I'll spend 2 weeks hand lettering, and I usually post my hand lettering on Instagram. My Instagram handle is the same as my YouTube. It's Elizabeth J with an S. So if you want to check those out on Instagram, you can do that. I'll put it somewhere on the screen so you can see that. And so basically I'm just going to put my monthly themes in alphabetically, and then when I do it, I will put a tick. And then I'm also going to somehow maybe go across like this alphabetically and randomly just pick a theme for a 2-week period and do the hand lettering. So let me fill that out now. So here are my monthly themes that I'm going to be doodling, sketching, possibly doing some tracing for each month in this bullet journal. So these are my themes. Some of them are books, some of them are just things that I like. Yeah, so these are my 12 themes. And then my hand lettering themes, I've just filled in alphabetically going across this way. Some of them are books, some of them are authors, some of them are just theme words, some of them are TV/movie, just a whole bunch of different things that I liked and picked out for the year. I find this easier than coming and trying to figure it out at the time that I'm doing hand lettering. So this way, I just have a whole bunch of things that I like doing. So these are my themes, and basically I'll just put a tick, or I'll color it in, or I'm not really sure how I'm going to indicate that I've done it, but I'll figure that out as I go. Okay, next spread is my ultimate reading list. I did copy this from a Pinterest. This is not my design, but I did do the lettering myself. So I have 2 book series that I want to attempt to read this year. The first one is to finish reading the Franny Fisher Murder Mysteries by Carrie Greenwood. I at the beginning of Ready Gore, so I do have quite a number to get through. And the second series that I would like to start and finish is The Chronicles of St. Mary by Jodi Taylor, which is like archaeological, historical, time travel type stuff, which I really love. Like I like things like Warehouse 13 and Eureka, if you know those TV shows. They're kind of like imaginative, sci-fi, historical kind of pieces. I wish we had. I mean, I know there's Timeless, but I'm not really into that show. Anyway, so let me put my books on the list and move on. So here's my reading list. I know that there's some like sort of short stories that are interspersed in between these main novel titles. I have those, I mean, they're very small, so I'm not adding them to this list, but I will read them in order. I know there's a new book, I want to say, okay, can't remember the title, but I know it's coming out this year, but I'm not going to include that on this list. And I do have some space left for some other books. In sort of the third or fourth book of the Throne of Glass series, it's a young adult fantasy alternative world series. Sometimes I find that after these series are at third or fourth book, that they kind of, it's too much. So I'm almost at that point. So that's why I've not added them on this list. I think I might stop reading it. I might just go ahead and just kind of read some summaries and see if I want to continue, because I think there's way too much going on and it's not moving fast enough for me. Anyway, that's just me. Someone else may love the series. So yeah, so this is my reading list, and then we have movies to watch and series that I would like to continue watching. So I'm going to write in some of the movies that I would like to watch. Now, these are not movies that I'm going to go to the movie theater to watch. Where I live, there really isn't that much in the way of movie theaters, so and also it's kind of expensive and out of the way, so I'm not really going to do that. I usually just wait for things to be released, like on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Movies or whatever it is, and then watch them that way. So I am going to put some things that have been released or have not yet been released that are probably coming fairly soon, and then yeah, I'll just put them into the movie reels that I have created here. And then the series, I'm just going to create boxes. So I haven't filled anything in here yet, but I will, based on the series that I am in the middle of watching. So here are the movies that I know I want to see. I'm sure more will come as the year progresses, so there's plenty of space for that. And then this is the series that I've just finished season 5. I've been binging. So once the school year starts back up again, I will not be able to binge the way I've been over this holiday break. So I'll just color in or put a tick or whatever for each episode in the seasons and hopefully finish it. I've never actually watched it all the way through. So I really like this series, and so I'm doing that on Hulu. And then we have the final spread, I believe. No, not yet. Not the final spread yet. The almost final spread for this year. It's my YouTube brainstorm spread. I have two YouTube channels. There's this channel, Elizabeth J with an S, which is mostly planner related, bullet journal type stuff. And then my housemate has a YouTube channel that I am helping her with, and it's called Hanging Out with Helen. And so we're working on a couple of different types of videos for her. It's a fairly new channel, but if you're interested in seeing what it's about, we live in Kenya, and so it's kind of about living in Kenya, but also there are some similarities with other places in the world as far as some of the topics that she's going to be talking about. And so basically I have a tick box for whether the video has been shot, whether I've edited the video, if it's been posted to YouTube, and if I've saved it on my hard drive, because I shoot everything on my phone, so then I have to transfer it to my hard drive. So I do have some things to fill out here, so let me do that and then we'll move on. So here's the video ideas that I have so far. Plenty of space for more ideas. And I did leave a couple of blank pages in between my January monthly, so if I need to, I can spill over on a second page. The next and final spreads I have are, first of all, I have a writing tracker. I wanted something a little bit more doodly and creative, so I decided to do the bookcase, which I know people use for reading tracker, but my reading tracker was just a basic list. And so I'm in the process of researching, doing research for a, I would say, biographical fiction book. And so I want to have maybe 250 pages written by the end of the year. So I've got 50 books here, and so for every 5 pages, I'll just color in a book, and that is going to be my writing tracker for this year. And then I have a weather key, and I'm using these stamps. And when I get into my monthly spreads, you will see why I am using a weather key. It's part of something that I'm tracking. I'm not tracking weather per se, but it has to do with some other things that I'm tracking. So these are the things that I need to track. We don't get snow here, so I don't need that particular one. These are the types of weather conditions that I want to track. And that basically is my setup for 2020. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you've got some ideas. Please feel free to use whatever you want. Like, subscribe to see some more. Share, comment. I would love to hear from you.